Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Today we step into the cold, sterilized world of the uber scary Technical Services Division. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that in my humble opinion, that's the scariest division within the CIA. You definitely don't want to piss off those guys and gals. It is 1953, the height of the Cold War. The agency is no longer satisfied with noisy ballistics or messy poisonings that leave a trail. They want the perfect crime, a weapon that acts with the precision of a surgeon and the invisibility of a ghost. Imagine a weapon so subtle that it leaves no entry wound, no ballistic signature, and no chemical residue. Some of you are thinking, oh, we've already seen that. You've told us about the heart attack gun. Oh, there's so many more. I have a long, long list of CIA inventions that have been declassified and not yet been made into an episode. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, in the early 1950s, the agency didn't just want to eliminate targets, they wanted to erase the very evidence that a murder had occurred, the status quo. The scene is a crowded street in a foreign capital. A man suddenly clutches his chest and collapses. Remember, this is before the heart attack gun, ladies and gentlemen. Bystanders rush to help, assuming a heart attack. The doctors agree, but miles away in a sterilized laboratory, a technician marks a ledger. This wasn't bad luck. This was MK-Ultra, Subproject 47. How did this lethal endeavor earn its clinical designation? Subproject 47 was a component of the broader MK-Ultra umbrella. Unlike some operations with evocative code names, 47 was a sequential numerical designation used by the Technical Services Division. The factual reason for this sterile naming convention was deep cover security. By using a simple number, the agency ensured that even if a budget ledger was intercepted, it would give no hint of the biological and chemical horrors being funded within. The agency didn't just want a poison, they wanted a ghost. The core goal of Subproject 47 was the development of a frozen water or ice dart. Scientists worked to create a projectile made of frozen toxins that would melt upon contact with the heat of the human body. A quote from a declassified 1956 memorandum for the record. The objective is to evaluate materials capable of producing alterations in the human central nervous system, ... testing natural products to establish threshold dose levels, end quote. Much of the research was conducted at the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary under the direction of Dr. Carol Pfeiffer. Inmates were often used as human test subjects to determine the efficiency of different chemical compounds on the central nervous system. A quote from former CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb. The results of everything told us that the money expended ... was probably not a high payoff program, but we had to know if it was possible, end quote. The chemical dart was designed to be fired from a modified pistol that was virtually silent, using a pneumatic system rather than gunpowder to avoid the acoustic signature of a firearm. The toxins tested included shellfish poisons and concentrated alkaloids that could induce a myocardial infarction, a heart attack, within seconds of entering the bloodstream. To ensure the dart left no mark, the needle was often made of extremely thin, high-tensile steel that could retract or break off and dissolve along with the toxin. Subproject 47 investigated transdermal delivery, poisons that could be absorbed through the skin via a simple brush-by in a hallway. Internal documents reveal that the agency spent over $60,000 in 1950s money just on the pharmacological screening of these compounds to ensure they were undetectable during a standard forensic autopsy. By the late 1950s, the research shifted towards incapacitating agents that wouldn't kill but would make a target appear mentally unstable or discredited in front of the public. One experimental delivery system involved a modified umbrella that could fire the dart while appearing to be a simple accessory in a rainy London or Paris street. The ice dart technology faced a major hurdle, keeping the projectile frozen in a concealable weapon while the operative waited for the target to appear. A quote from the 1975 Church Committee hearings: "Does this pistol fire the dart?" Senator Frank Church asked while holding the weapon. That's the, just as an aside, that's the heart attack gun, which we have a whole episode on. But remember, this dart was the precursor. The CIA witness responded, "Yes, sir. It is a high-velocity, silent, and effective system." End quote. One chemical compound prioritized was, I'm probably going to butcher this, Saxitoxin, Saxitoxin, a potent neurotoxin derived from algae that is 1,000 times more lethal than cyanide. The dart pistol was specifically engineered to look like a standard Colt 45 to the untrained eye, but the internals were entirely replaced with air pressure canisters and a cooling sleeve. Operational logs suggest that agents were instructed to aim for areas of the body with high blood flow but low nerve endings, such as the back of the leg, to minimize the chance of the target feeling the sting. When we look at the declassified financial logs, the most significant blackouts occur in the field application log from 1960 to 1965. This is where the paper trail for Subproject 47 becomes a wall of ink. Specifically, the section on external procurement of biological shells, which is almost entirely redacted. This specific document contains more black bars per page than any other declassified MKUltra file. Why is the agency hiding the production numbers? Get ready for the theory of the heart attack gun. Speculation suggests political deaths are still being carried out using Subject 47 technology. This theory claims the redactions in the toxin stability data hide a version of the gun that uses nano darts invisible to the naked eye. They argue the blacked out logs describe a 2026 executive action program where high-profile figures will be dying from natural causes that are actually targeted by agents using a refined 47 technology that leaves no entry wound and vanishes in the blood within minutes. Some imagine the redacted pages have to do with institutional transfer files and that they hide big pharma intervention. This theory argues the agency gave the Subproject 47 formulas to private companies to hide them, and the redactions cover the royalties the CIA still collects on legitimate medications that were originally developed as silent kill toxins. Theorists looking at the blacked-out refrigeration manifest argue the agency has sleeper toxins already inside the global water supply. They claim the redactions describe an activation frequency, a specific radio signal, that could trigger these dormant toxins to mimic a heart attack in anyone the agency chooses to eliminate. Gossip suggests the black bars hide forensic countermeasures. For instance, some sort of ghost enzyme. This theory posits the agency has a chemical that doesn't just kill, but actually cleans the body after death, removing all trace of any other drugs or toxins, and the redacted pages are a manual on how to bribe medical examiners in the modern day and age. Rumor says that there are delivery test redactions which hide a weapon that can fire the Subproject 47 toxins from orbit. They claim the redactions prove that sudden deaths in remote locations are actually precision strikes from a satellite that can drop a microscopic ice needle through the atmosphere directly into a target's shoulder. A wild theory suggests the redacted sections hide a target acquisition blueprint, which involved a mosquito-sized drone. This theory claims the CIA has perfected mechanical insects that deliver the Subproject 47 payload, making the hit look like a simple bug bite. that the victim ignores until their heart stops 10 minutes later. Conspiracy enthusiasts argue that the public gathering redactions prove the agency can release the toxin as a dry aerosol. They believe the blacked out pages describe a way to target one specific person in a crowd by using scented chemical that only reacts to that person's specific DNA. Fringe gossip argue the redacted sections describe a post-mortem signature. This theory claims the agency can make a death look like a heart attack or a stroke or even a drowning by adjusting the blend of the 47 toxin before it is frozen into the dart. Whispers from the dark web suggest that the redacted pages, especially the ones titled Long-Term Effect Studies, prove the agency developed a slow dart. This theory posits that the missing pages describe a way to inject a free biological agent that causes rapid onset cancer, making the assassination look like a tragic illness months after the encounter. Some believe the redacted pages are actually a list of names. This theory suggests the agency is hiding a roster of cleaners, doctors and morticians who are on the payroll to ensure that if a Subproject 47 dart ever leaves a trace, it is lost before it can be entered into a lab report. Another terrifying theory claims that the inherited redactions hide a family kill. It suggests the agency can use a Subproject 47 variant that remains dormant in one person but becomes lethal if passed to their children, allowing the agency to eliminate entire bloodlines with a single dart. Lastly, some whispers suggest the redactions are so heavy because they prove the current world is clearly saturated with these toxins. This theory posits that the black ink hides the fact that the CIA uses Subproject 47 tech to retire their own agents once they become a liability, and the missing pages are a list of heart attacks that were actually hits. Was Subproject 47 a success? Tactically, it was a terrifying achievement. While many MK Ultra projects were abandoned, the heart attack gun was successfully mastered. Remember, I have a whole episode on that. This is just Subproject 47, the creation of that gun's ammunition. It proved that the agency has achieved a trace-free kill. Strategically, it was a public relations disaster. Once the technology was exposed in 1975, every high-profile death became a source of suspicion, damaging the agency's plausible deniability forever. However, the breakthroughs in delivery mechanics are still the gold standard for covert technology. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs are concerned, the dissolving death led to breakthroughs that redefined the black bag operation, such as undetectable bioprojectiles, the standard for non-ballistic delivery of chemical agents. Forensic camouflaging, developing toxins that perfectly mimic natural biological failures like cardiac arrest or stroke. Pneumatic silent firing, perfecting noise suppression for high-velocity, low-mass projectiles. And trace element erasure, techniques to ensure that even a mass spectrometer cannot find foreign compounds in a victim's tissue. Subproject 47 reminds us that in the world of intelligence, a heart attack isn't always a matter of health. It's sometimes a matter of policy. As the files reveal, the most effective weapon is the one the coroner never finds. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we examine Project Dinosaur. In the 1960s, the Air Force and the agency dreamed of a plane that could skip across the atmosphere like a stone. We'll uncover the space plane blueprints, the hypersonic bomber manifest, and the moment the world realized that the next war wouldn't be fought on the ground, but from the edge of space. Join us next time for the hypersonic ghost. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.